Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Baserbillion Art and today we're doing another big pen drawing and I hope you are going to follow along for the ride. As you can see on this drawing, as I do with most of my drawings, I've plotted the dots of the orientation of the face prior to starting. And as you can see, I'm just letting you guys in on that level now because normally when I start I don't actually show you that bit, but I've had a few people come through and say they want to see it, so this is what happens. So we'll literally get the subject picture that we're doing, and literally plot the dots for where we want it to go. And then we literally draw the lines in, and that's phase one. What you can see now is I'm actually starting to add some shading into the piece, and that's where we start to get the real body of the work start to come to the fore. Again, I'll say to you that it's essential that we keep everything very loose with the drawing, because when you do loose drawings you always keep the art. You've always got to remember, lots of people can draw and draw very, very well, but for me and people that like to draw in a big pen, what's very important is that we keep that rough, sketchy element to what we're doing. That ensures that you never look like a photograph, and you maintain and retain the art within the work that you're doing. So as you can see, the face is slowly starting to develop. And again, as you can see, even though I'm putting the sketch and the shadow lines in, it would be easy to look at those and say, yeah, that's enough. But as you'll see, as we go through the drawing, there's layer after layer after layer that has to go on to finally achieve the desired look. Again, a little bit more rendering around the nose and just darkening up the really dark areas of the face. And again, plotting out and leaving and distinguishing the light areas. So as you can see on the cheek that's closest to us, it's very, very light. But again, in the side of the face that's further away, you can really go really quite heavy on that. And as you can see, even around the mouth area that I'm working on at this point, again, don't be afraid of the ink, let it go, and really make your applications onto the paper. As I always say, for me art should be natural. I figure that's the best way for you to deliver what you do. So never be overly harsh on what you're delivering. And also, one of the major tips that I'll give you for portrait work as well, and don't get me wrong, I've suffered with this myself, so I'm not preaching from the mountain, but what you mustn't ever do is never ever judge your work before it's finished. Indeed, I would say to you, don't even judge your work until a couple of days after you've done it. Because often when we do, as artists, when we deliver work, we can be impatient. So if we're in the middle of it, we're looking at it thinking, oh, it doesn't quite look like the person we're trying to get to. So I would say to you, another little tip and bit of advice, is never ever judge your work whilst you're doing it. I know that can be difficult because obviously whilst you're in the mode of doing it, you're trying to achieve a certain goal. But what you mustn't do is allow that to get out of control, because if it does, what can happen is you can basically abandon perfectly good drawings that just needed a little bit more time to develop. And I found that myself. Even with this particular drawing, whilst I was doing it, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this. But again, I listened to my own advice and I said, you know, let's just leave it, walk away from it for a little while and come back in a day or so. And often when you do that, you're going to find that, you know, the drawing isn't quite as bad as you might first thought. Okay, so at this stage, I always like to add in some colour. Reason being, I just think that the human face and skin in general is full and packed with colours if you really look. Now the person that we're drawing here is a dark-skinned black man, and so what we're doing is we've got a lot of scope, so there's a lot of range that we can use in terms of how dark or light that we actually go onto the paper, so that makes it for a really good outcome. Anyway guys, as we're coming to the end of the video, please remember to like, subscribe and turn on your notifications, and I'll see you at 8 PM next Thursday.